Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk, the podcast presented by The Courier. I'm one of your co-hosts, Sol.
And I'm David. I'm also the other co-host, and I'm the managing editor here at The Courier. If you can tell by our voices, we're done.
Super done. I'm down bad. I've been down bad for like the past 2 months.
Yeah, you just been sick. Horrible. Yeah, but...
Last week we didn't record.
Yeah, we didn't record.
Gone.
Yeah.
I was gone.
But we're just gonna try getting back into the routine of it all, and just trying to get through the next few weeks of the semester, which that's the thing, it's gonna go by so fast.
It is.
Especially with Thanksgiving break. Well, not even break, huh? It's like 2 days. Never mind.
I think it's like 4 days.
No,
it's like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, sure. Oh,
yeah.
I wasn't counting the weekend.
Yeah,
because you know how
2 days.
Like the high schools and elementaries, they get the whole week.
And then this Friday we have Veterans Day.
I don't have classes on Friday though.
Neither.
So I'm just like missed out on that.
And then winter break is pretty much already here, so that means the end of the semester. But
yeah,
it's going by fast. It's been going
so
by fast.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't believe how fast this fall is going. 2024 is already around the corner, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
I'm still like in 2022. Not even like, it feels like it was just January.
I'm still in COVID, guys. Like I'm still in like 2019, 2020. Like that's.
I'm still a baby.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
I have a diaper on. No, but yeah. So
today we're gonna be talking about something that I feel like, I don't know about you, but maybe it's just like the season's changing. But I've kind of seen it a lot more recently and in my own personal life as well.
Mm-hmm.
This idea of like validation.
Yeah.
And like the fear of not really being liked or accepted as an adult.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I feel like people are really just like finding their way in life, and it's hard when you're kind of like stuck in limbo of like, I don't really know what I'm gonna do yet. I'm also still trying to get there, but like, I don't know. So that fear of like the validation thing is like really big. It's I've seen it a lot. I don't know about you. Have you like seen like more of a talk about it in like your own personal life, or?
I mean, maybe not in my personal life, but I've seen like people online definitely like talk about more just their own insecurities more openly, and just like how they think others think of them in a way.
Yeah.
Like I think it's mostly more to do, I mean, because if with validation we mean like, you know, looking for I don't know, like fulfillment or like acceptance with like other people.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of like that kind of talk online, especially with just like the idea of like what you were saying about like was it seasonal depression?
Yeah,
with
dude.
like with fall and winter and
I mean, it may be the seasons changing, like that's why
maybe
I'm in my fields, or like other people are in their fields, but like it's just like such a thing. And I really noticed it because I'd seen it like other people of like, oh, like, you know, I don't want to hang out with so-and-so because I'm like scared of this, or like, oh, I don't like hanging out with that group of people because I feel like this when I hang out with them, and it makes me feel bad, or like whatever. So a lot of like people I know have been saying that, and then in my personal experience, like what made me realize that it was like kind of an issue is that I recently found out that my boyfriend's best friend like does not like me.
Oh yeah.
And that's like, usually I wouldn't give a fuck, but like this time I was like, oh my god, like that really made me feel like shit. And like I don't know her, you know, like she's not my friend, but it still made me feel really bad, and I couldn't like pinpoint why, because usually I'm like, okay, whatever, like not my problem.
Yeah.
But it made me feel bad, and I was like, for a few days I was really thinking about it. I was like, it was important that the next time I see her that I kind of like, maybe I'm a little nicer, or like, you know,
rethinking like every single move with her. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, you said it's she?
Yeah.
Do you think it's different because it's she?
I don't think so, because like he has other girlfriends as well, and we all get along super well. Okay. And they're very nice to me. I mean, like, they're really, really sweet. But I've always kind of like, I don't know, she just doesn't vibe.
Yeah.
You know? And it could be for a lot of reasons, I don't know. But also, it's like, I was thinking about it a lot for a few days after. I'm like, what am I going to do the next time I see her?
Yeah.
I know she doesn't like me now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, and that's just, like, one example, but I'm sure this can apply to, like, a lot of other areas.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say, like, earlier was, like, with validation, I think it's different with, like, who you're, like, seeking validation from.
Yeah.
Like, it's different from, like, wanting your parents to, like, validate you or, like, recognize, like, what you're doing than, like, your friends or, like, your partner. That's actually really interesting because, like, I've tried not to, like, think too much about, like, what others think of me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially, like, I think more in high school. Like, it was more just, like, oh, I don't want people to be thinking this, or, like, I don't want people to get the wrong idea of me. Like, I hate when people don't have, like, a good impression of who I am as a person, because then they get things wrong, and I'm just like, well, I'm not like that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, with validation, it's kind of, like, interesting, because it's not the same as, like, I don't know, like, acceptance.
Yeah.
Because I think with validation, it's, like, you need a certain, like, satisfaction, too.
Right, yeah, that's
like,
true.
you need to feel, like, I don't know, like, not only accepted, but, like, welcomed, or, like, at least, like...
Like a sense of accomplishment, like,
yeah,
for yourself, almost.
Yeah.
I feel that. So,
like, well, actually, that's, like, kind of, like, what I wanted to get into. But you mentioned your friend, or your boyfriend's friend. Like, what do you mean by, like, validation, then? Like, you just wanted to, like, her to like you? Was that it?
I really don't know. Like, I'm still even trying to, like, figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want her to like me, but, like, maybe I do. Maybe I really secretly do, and, like, I really do give a fuck. Maybe I'm, like, that's just my brain, like, telling me, but I don't know. Like, maybe. Because I do feel bad when it's, like, I'm hanging out with a group of friends or whatever, and all of them are, like, really nice to me, really sweet to me, and then, like, I just know at the back of my head that, like, even during this conversation we're having, or after this conversation, she's still not gonna like me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, like, do I be nice to you? Do I just leave you alone? Like, you know what I mean? So maybe I would like that. Like, I don't know. I think I would feel better if I was reassured that we're, like, okay. But at the same time, I'm not a confrontational person. I would never go out seeking that, like
me.
Yeah, like, I would never do that.
Yeah.
I would just, like, oh, that sucks, you know, like, bummer.
Yeah.
And I would kind of feel like shit.
I'm just thinking about her listening to this.
Yeah, I know. I'm like...
Like me, please.
Yeah.
No, but, yeah, I mean... was that, like, incident just, like, the whole, like, basis of, like, why you wanted to talk about this?
Yeah, because it really got me for, like, I'm not kidding, like, maybe 5 or 6 days. I was like, ugh, like, and it wasn't so much of, like, damn, like, I'm sad, she's not my friend, like, I don't need friends, I don't fucking care, like, whatever. My thing was, like, ugh, why doesn't she like me? Like, what did I do? Or, like, what can I do next time? And so it really got me, and maybe for you or, like, other people too, like, it could be the same thing for, like, a boss, or, like, you know, I don't know, you're the new friend in, like, a group, and you're like, I kind of want to be, like, on good terms with everyone. Same thing, like, with the boss or manager, like, if you're starting out your career, you, like, want to make sure, and even if they pretend to like you, and, like, you hear that they don't, it still makes you feel like shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, maybe, like, I don't know if validation and acceptance, because those are two different things, I feel like.
Because I think it's interesting that you immediately were just, like, validation. It wasn't like, oh, I just want to be, like, okay with this person. Like, I need to be more than that. Maybe just because, like, maybe it's just, like, is it, like, what, the closeness with, like, her? Or, like...
I guess. And the funny thing is, like, I don't even talk to her. Like, I don't even know her. She's not my friend. She's not my friend at all, you know? But, like, it still really got to me. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe this is just my seasonal depression kicking in, but, like, I was really, like, on it for a few days. And I kind of told my boyfriend about it. I was like, this made me feel a little bad. And I don't know why, or, like, there's not anything that I want to do about it. I'm just, like, kind of thinking about it.
Well, I guess, like, maybe it's just because you don't want to, like, be thinking, like, oh, well, like, if this one person is thinking that, then how many other people are, like, in the same boat? And then it's just, like...
True.
And then maybe it's just, like, is it them or is it me? Like, And then if it is me, then like, am I like saying the wrong things? Am I giving like an unfriendly like vibe to like other people? Because I think that's like what I try to think. Like I'm always like whenever I'm thinking about me, I never think of myself as like just like directly through me. I have to think through how other people think of me, and it's like not that I care like about what they think, but it's just an easier way of like understanding of who I am, rather than like looking directly and be like, oh, I feel like this, or like I think that, like,
or how other people see you, you know. And then it's kind of like, if all these other people are thinking this about me, maybe it might be true, or like I don't know, you know. What would you do? Like, I mean, let's say that's the same situation for you. Like, how would you respond in that situation when you found out? Would you be like, what the fuck?
If like no, if I was like dating someone, like I found out that their friend,
their best friend, like of all time, best friend. Like,
it's his best friend.
Yeah, it's his best friend.
Oh, okay.
Makes it even worse.
Yeah. Well, do you know why? Or you just know you don't even
know. I have no idea.
You just got tipped off, and then you're just.
I fucking got dissed,
so
and
like,
hey,
by the way, no, she doesn't like you.
By the way, she don't really like you.
Yeah.
Even he was like, yeah, I know she's kind of mean to you sometimes. I was like, what the fuck?
And you're just like, hold that.
Yeah, I was like, alright, don't say nothing then, whatever. I get it, but like,
if it were me, I don't. See, I don't know, because I like to think that, like, I don't care much about what others think of me.
That's the thing, too, is, like, I'm usually never... I don't give a single flying fuck. Like, I don't. I have so many other things in my life to worry about.
Exactly.
And especially, like, if we're not friends, you are not benefiting me, and I'm not benefiting you. So I could care less what you think about me.
Yeah.
Straight up. But I don't know why this, like, really got to me. And, yeah, usually I'm like, okay, whatever. Not my problem. You know, like, move on with my life. But... I think until it's, like, in front of your face and until you're, like, someone tells you, like, oh, she don't like you, then you're like, damn, okay. Well, now I gotta think about it, you know. What did I do wrong? I don't know.
Well, why is it that, like, it like, hurts, not hurts, but, like, it affects you a little bit more? I'm not, like, asking you directly, just, like, in general, but, like, why is it that it affects you more when it's, like, someone you don't know much about than when it's, like, someone you know? Maybe it's just because, like, they have, like, they know enough about you to where, like, okay... Like, that's fair.
Make that conclusion.
Yeah, like, like you have, like, the information, you have your own conclusion, that's just how you feel. Whereas, like, with, like, a stranger, it's like, they don't have the full idea, or at least you don't think they have the full idea.
Right.
So then you're just like, no, but, like, I'm really cool.
You've
like,
got
trust
it all
me.
wrong.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's definitely really true. Actually, yeah, I was thinking about that, too. Like, why is it... Because I clearly don't know this person well enough to, like, have a friendship with them. So... Why am I being so pressed about it, if, like, from a stranger, as opposed to someone who I would maybe met a few times and, like, really had conversations and they were like, okay, like, we just didn't hang out anymore. That wouldn't bother me at all, you know?
Is it... Well, I was kind of thinking of, like, maybe it's just because... Like, because you don't know that much about this person, but yeah, you still need to fill up, like, the gaps of information that you don't know. Mm-hmm. So, like, you have this idea of who they are, and so, like, because they have this wrong idea about, like, who you are, and then you're going off of, like, how you think of them, then you're like, oh, like, I don't like how that makes me feel. Whereas, like, it can really just be like, oh, like, they don't like you because, I don't know, you do this, or, like...
That's true.
And another thing is, like, someone else told you, right? It wasn't like she was telling you. Well, I mean, not that she would.
No, she didn't tell me. I just kind of got the vibe, and then I kind of said something.
Yeah.
And my boyfriend, like, kind of confirmed it. He's like, yeah, she
okay.
And then apparently, I mean, I hope no one hears this, but apparently, I'm changing names here. Apparently, one of, like, they were out one time, and, like, one of his friends was like, oh, yeah, like, you know, she didn't really like girlfriends. And then he, like, he was, like, motioned to my boyfriend. He was like, yeah, she doesn't like girlfriends. Oh. And then he was like, oh, shit.
Just
like,
wagging the finger at you.
Yeah, it's like me.
Yeah.
So I wasn't there, but he told me about that. He was like, yeah, okay. That kind of, like, confirmed. And I'm like, what the fuck? y'all got issues, like, straight up, because I don't know.
Well, I was going to say with that was, like, I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, because this is, like, technically a journalism podcast. It's like, it's like, what is it? It's a second source. It's not, like, first source. So it's like you don't really know like what the problem is, and then maybe it's just and maybe it's just like, you know, in her life, like she's just come across people that like remind you of her, or you remind her of. So then because she has those bad experiences, it's like,
oh, that's terrible.
Like that. Yeah, but that's nothing to do with you though.
I mean, if you see my face and think of another person,
well, not your face, but like just like, and okay, but like.
You know what I mean? Like,
no, yeah.
I have those people where I see them and they remind me of someone else, and I'm like, ugh,
sure, yeah.
No, like I can't talk to you.
Or like even just their behavior. It's like, oh, I know, I've met you before.
Yeah.
Like it's like that feeling of like either like I've met you before or like I've seen you in like a past life and we just did not get along because like I really feel like
that's very true.
Like I'm antagonizing you. But,
yeah. Have you had any experiences where you're like, I don't really know this person, but I could already tell like we're not gonna vibe?
Yeah, I mean I like to think I'm pretty good at like, I don't want to say reading people because like I don't know if it was like I'm talking people like a book, but like I have a good idea of like what a person's like from like the get go, and like yeah, I mean I've definitely have experiences where I'm just like, oh, I don't think we're gonna get along, and like even like with the people where like I do end up like getting along with them, even if I didn't think that at first, like. It wasn't like I was like, oh yeah, we're definitely not getting along. Like people who I know I'm not gonna get along with, I know, because it's just like we're just not gonna. But I think it's worse when you get to know someone and then you're just like, oh wait, never mind.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily getting along because you can still get along with shitty people.
That's true.
But like you're still thinking like, oh man, like there's been too many times of like where I've like I've known someone or like I kind of grew up with them or like just like kind of friendly, and then like I find out like they did something shitty, and then like now every single interaction like, oh,
you just sort of reminded of that shit,
but, like still get along with them. But
get that.
I mean, like with just to kind of like go back to like validation though, I mean that's actually pretty interesting to think about in like a community college sphere, just because like you really don't know anyone.
Oh yeah.
Like you don't really know we're like professors are like, you're not really like meeting friends like that. I mean like maybe like through clubs.
I've made 0 friends at PCC.
yeah.
Like straight up, I've made 0 friends, but not at fault. It's no one's fault. It's just
because everyone's doing their own thing.
Right. Yeah.
But I think. But what I was gonna say though was like with the community colleges, like because everyone is a stranger, like that sense of like validation. Maybe like I don't know how it is for you, but like. I think it's a little bit more heightened just because, like, you don't want to, like, give the wrong idea, like, with your professor, like, oh, I'm, like, a slacker.
Yeah,
or, like...
That's true.
Or, like, someone next to you, like, maybe, like, I don't know, get like, the wrong, like, answer or something, and then, like, all of a sudden they're just like, oh, this guy's a dumbass.
No, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's... I don't know why I keep thinking, like, how strangers... Like, we seek validation in strangers, but, like, with, like, people that we know, it's like, oh, whatever, they could hate me, but, like, I'm fine with that.
And I think that's the main reason why I was, like, so stuck on that, too, is because that exact reason, like, I was thinking about that so much. And I'm like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't care as much because I don't know this person, but at the same time, it's really bugging me, and, like, I don't know, just, it's really crazy, but I think maybe it is a seasonal depression, but, like, I think it is kind of a big thing. It's always been. I mean, validation and acceptance. It's nothing new.
I mean, everyone kind of needs that in some way. Yeah.
But, yeah, and like you said, too, like, in a community college setting, we're all kind of, like... I mean, you have people who are fresh out of high school, and then you have people who are coming back to finish their career, like, 10, 15 years later.
Or people who, like, come on campus with their kids, and it's, like, a totally different life than, like, someone who's, like, I don't know, like me, you know? Like, it's just totally different, but, not to cut you off, but, like, actually, I kind of want to go down, like, the different types of validation, because I do think there's, like, different, like...
There is.
It's, like, a spectrum, really, like, of, like, the kind of validation you seek from, like, a boss is really different from the kind of validation you seek from, like, a partner, so, like...
No, yeah, that's kind of what I was going to say, too, is, like, all these different people that we see on a day-to-day basis. I don't talk to any of them.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, I'm sure that in some way, even without realizing it, like, that validation, that acceptance, like, in the classroom setting or with classmates or, with your professor, like, that is happening. Yeah. Like, even if I don't acknowledge it, like, in the very moment. Yeah. Like, it is an ongoing, like, process, I feel like.
Yeah.
And it's different, you know, like, with classmates, I don't know, I don't talk to anyone in any of my classes, and some, you know, maybe that makes me feel bad sometimes, and I don't even realize it, or maybe it doesn't, maybe I don't care, but, like, that's different from, like, the validation you seek from a professor or from an advisor or a mentor, you know, like you want to kind of establish that. And when it's not fully, like, it can feel bad, I guess.
Yeah.
It can feel
No,
bad.
I mean, anything could, like when you're, like, kind of feel like no one really, maybe not that no one really knows you, but just, like, you're not really connecting with people.
Connecting,
like, that, you know. Like, I really envy people who could just, like, go up to people and, like, be like, oh, hi, like,
oh my God,
how was your day? Like, I literally had an interaction with someone yesterday who I had only met once, and then they were talking to me, and we had, like, a full-on, like, conversation. I was just thinking, like, I would never do this if it was the other way around. But yeah, like, it was, like, such a nice conversation, and, like, it was, like, one of, like, the best parts of my day, just because I really liked, like, talking to that person. But I was just like, like, and there's so many times where it's like, oh, like, I could have maybe, like, been a little bit more talkative with that person, or been a little bit more open, not as secretive. Which, I mean, kind of, like, going off of that, like, what do you think is, like, the kind of validation you look for in, like, a professor, or more like a boss? Like, what kind of validation do you want from them? Obviously, it has to do with your work.
Yeah.
But, like, how does that differentiate from?
I guess, like, with me, I've kind of always wanted to be, like, taken seriously.
Yeah.
You know? And, like, I don't know. Because sometimes I'm in classes at PCC where I'm sitting next to, like, someone who's fresh out of high school and who's not the most mature person, and they're talking during the class, making jokes. I'm like, this is not freshman year. Like, why are you acting like this?
Yeah.
You know, so with, like, a professor, like, I would hope that they would take me, like, serious and not think I'm just gonna make jokes and, like, laugh and, like, not turn in my work the entire semester and just fuck off, you know? Like, so I guess that, in that sense, would be taken a little, like, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't take myself seriously, but, like, in a professional scope, like, I would love to feel that validation as, like, hey, I see you as not my equal, but I do see you as someone who can handle this, I guess. You know what I mean? Yeah,
like, no, I feel like that with, like, my current boss, just because, especially because, like, I think I mentioned it before in a previous episode, but, like, I work from home, and, like, I've only met my boss in person once.
Oh, shit.
And, like, it was, like, in, like, passing, so it wasn't even, like, a sit down or, like, anything like that. So, like, she knows, like, next to nothing about me, and, like, I know, well, I do a little bit just because I see her, like, social media and stuff, whereas, like, I don't post at all, not really, but, so then, like, whenever, like, there's, like, things where, like, I, like, I'll turn in, like, something, and I'll be like, oh, I'm really, like, proud of, like, what I did, or, like, I, like, did a good job of this, and like, you hear nothing, and it's like, oh shit, like, they must have not thought that, and then I'm like, well, fuck, or, like, then the worst is, like, getting criticism, not because it's criticizing your work, but then it's just like, oh man, like, but, like, you don't, like, get, like, what was going on, or, like, I really tried, but, like, like, kind of, like, get my perspective,
right,
and I just want that, like, oh, like, to feel like I'm recognized for doing, like, a good job sometimes.
Like, successfully completing
exactly,
work.
and, like, be responsible for, like, my work too, and that's another thing, is, like, just, I think, with, like, managers or, like, bosses, it's, like, wanting to feel like you're being seen as responsible and, like, capable.
Yeah. Capable is, I think, the key word, too.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, when, like, it's happened to me before where, like, I'll have someone, like, a professor, like, even a boss, like, in one of my previous jobs, and they're like, oh, I've asked this person to do this task, and it's, like, a complicated task, and I'm like, why don't you ask me? You know, like, it kind of feels like shit, but that I'm capable enough to handle a job like that, like, or a task, like, a complicated task, like, that validation is kind of nice. But that's also different from, like, it's kind of the same with my parents, maybe it's the same for you, but, like, there's much more, like, emotion involved, like, you know what I mean, and connection, relationship.
I think just because they're still, like, an authoritative figure in your life, so it's still, like, you want them to, like, see you as responsible, but you also want them to see you as, like, I don't know. I think because, like, with the boss, you're not expecting them to, like, know everything about your life and, like, know, like, you're, like, this complex person. Like, everyone is, like, go figure, but you want, like, maybe, like, your parents should, like, recognize, like, hey, like, I'm, like, doing this and I'm doing that, I'm accomplishing things, but I'm also, like, being my own person. And I think that's, I mean, it's way different than a marriage because there's like you said, it's so much like emotions involved, and it could be like really positive or like really negative.
Yeah.
Like the tiniest thing. Like I was actually talking to a friend once, not too long ago about like just whenever your parent like criticizes you or like kind of picks at something.
Yeah.
It feels so much different than like getting it from a boss. Or like a friend, just because like
it hurts.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, fuck.
Yeah. Like, I remember like a friend telling me like her experience with like one of her parents, so like, and they're like disapproving of like something that they did, and like not even like a bad thing. It was just like like, you know, just something that they like chose to like do for themselves, and then like it was like very little, like literally the conflict like probably would like be forgotten about like within like an hour, but because it was like a parent, it like, you know, made them cry. Yeah. And then because like it's just because it's a parent, it hits a little bit harder.
The classic, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, like, exactly.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Yeah, you don't want to disappoint. That's another thing.
But, I know, yeah, that's true.
What's kind of funny is like the one I'm still trying to figure out is like validation from like a partner.
I know that is difficult
because you're not looking for like responsibility, because you could be the most irresponsible person, but like you don't care, because like if they're still with you, then it's like
right. Yeah, I really believe that that's all like an emotional thing, because you could be like a really irresponsible like shitty person, but like seeking that validation from a partner in a relationship is like, I mean, that's like the whole goal, isn't it, like when you're with someone. So that's tough.
I mean, I guess like it's like, what even is the validation though? Like, because like you do want to be validated in some like way from a partner, but it's just like but like how? Though?
Yeah, I've heard people with like I want to be good enough.
Oh,
or, you know, like
I'm not good enough for you.
I'm not good enough. Yeah. Or I want to be better.
Yeah.
Or when we're together we're better, and it's like I've heard all.
But see, what does that mean though? Like, what is better?
And that's why I think it's emotional, because I feel like I know some people who are like, they're good for me, or they're good enough for me because they're steady in their career. Yeah. Like their finances are good, they're responsible.
So that's security. Yeah. But then like what is like good enough for me isn't like emotionally. Like, like is that just like, like they understand me?
Right, yeah.
But is that really validation though? I don't know.
And I think for some people it could be.
It could be, yeah.
You know, and for some people it's like, okay, not really care, but I don't know. Or there's some people who, you know, are like, one partner can struggle with more things than the other partner, in terms of like I don't know, like, just an example, like one partner could have like severe anxiety, and the other partner could be like the most social butterfly, like no issues talking to people whatsoever, no anxiety, whatever, and then it's like, this person makes me better, you know, so getting that kind of validation if you're with someone. I don't know where I'm going with this, but you know what I mean.
No, I get it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just because like I haven't really been like dating like that, but I don't try to think that. I mean, at least not like from like people in general, especially from friends. Like I think like the kind of validation you seek from friends is like a little bit similar to a partner. Obviously with the partner it's more romantic, but or like whatever, but it is kind of the same because it's a peer.
I agree.
It's not an authoritative figure, but I always, especially like partners, I try to think of it as like and I saw someone write this once like online, I forgot where, but I was reading something and they said that like what like I'm looking for like in a person, or like what I want out of a partner, I should be looking for that in myself. So like instead of like looking for someone for like validation, like feeling like validation from yourself.
Yeah. I was just about to say that actually too, is like I think what a lot of the fear of that acceptance or validation from friends or whatever it is like when you find out that validation is not really like happening, or that acceptance isn't happening, it kind of like forces you to look inward, and you're like, well, what am I doing wrong, or why doesn't this person like me, or why are they not accepting me in their friend group or whatever. And people don't like looking inward, like they just it makes people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, that's the main reason why people don't go to therapy. Is like they don't want to like see that shit, you know. But like that's what it all boils down to. And so I feel like going back to what you said, it's like spot on, because I feel like you have to kind of like assess before. I guess in a romantic relationship it's more important, but like before you jump into that, like you do need to assess. But
yourself,
yeah.
I mean, and then that's another thing is like the word validation is like it's value.
Yeah.
So like to like seek validation in yourself is to know what your value is as a person. It's like knowing that like you're good enough for not someone else, or like if someone else is good enough for you, but like knowing that you're good enough for like what you're doing, and like not necessarily content. Like I kind of hate the word content just because I feel like it's like a way to like just be the same. Like always.
Like too comfortable.
Exactly. I don't like. That's another thing. I don't like really comfort. I mean, it's nice to feel comfortable, but like to always feel comfortable is like the worst.
Yeah.
But like just not wanting to like be like okay with like just the way it is, but like like knowing what your value is, and like knowing that like you know you are good enough and that you could like better yourself, I guess.
Yeah.
And like just to kind of like tie that back to like, I don't know, college and even journalism in some extent, is like knowing like your value and like in a place. Like I keep thinking about like, because I mean we're both transferring like within like a year. Like thinking like whether or not I'll feel like, I mean, and this is not even like with like a personal like you know one-on-one with another person, but like feeling like validated within like a place. Like feeling like you belong there. Which is another thing is like, oh, am I good enough to be here? Yeah. And that's such a like weird thing is like wanting to be good enough for something. It really
is, yeah. Because it's the thing about that too is like it's not tangible, like that whole thing, like, and so it's like frustrating when it's not something that you can like see or like feel or touch, but it's there, like it literally follows you. It's going to follow like when we transfer in somewhere else, like that feeling is always going to be there, but it's like. I mean, even I went to University of Arizona for like a little bit, way before I came to PCC, but even there, like people were like, "Oh, so and so is a transfer," and like that's what they would just call. They're just transfers, you know. And it kind of sucked because I was like, "Well, they worked their asses off too to get here, like so what, you know?" Yeah. But they like it was kind of like. All divided up a little bit, so that's scary, and I hope that like that's kind of gone away a little bit, but one can only hope.
It actually reminds me of what I was gonna say earlier when you were saying about like being with like in a class, and it's like you're like you know like later in life and like you see someone like fresh out of high school, like for me like someone who is like still like pretty like you know high school isn't that long ago for me. Or like you know it was recent. I guess like what sucks for like to feel validated, and this goes to like friends, is like feeling validated when people are like doing maybe like it seems like people are doing more than you. Oh yeah. So like having friends that like are like at 4 years or like already got like this or doing that, and then like you're like well shit like I'm here. Like, and then because then it's like you're like well fuck like how was that person think of me? Like do they think like I'm just like slacking off, lazy? Or like and it's like the worst like when you're talking to them and it's like you could tell. Like I remember talking to like someone and like I was like saying like oh yeah I'm really excited to like transfer to like a school or whatever like it's like it's exciting, it's different than high school, and then like they're all like oh yeah like I'm sure it'll be like way better than like what's going on like where you're at. And I remember thinking like, oh my god, what an asshole. Not like they didn't say it exactly, but like along like the word. And then I remember thinking like, it's not a bad place though. Like it's just like it's just the route I took, and like it's working out for me. Yeah. And like sure I'm excited, and wherever I'll be like it might be like better, but like that doesn't mean like where I'm at is like a shitty place. Yeah. So I'm like well fuck like what do you actually. How do you feel? Like, how do you really feel? Yeah. And no, that's definitely true. I mean, in careers, too, that's the same thing. I have friends who are like, oh, like, I just signed this deal to collab with this company. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, okay. Or, like, I just hate feeling like the kid or, like, you know. Because a lot of my people I know, too, are, like, a little older than me. Yeah. So that also contributes to, like, why their careers are where they are. But at the same time, I'm like...
I'm not that far behind. I should maybe get my shit together.
Yeah.
And it just sucks, you know, when you're hanging out and you're like at dinner or whatever, and everyone's like, oh yeah, oh my god, you just came back from Greece, or you just did a Europe trip, like across Europe or whatever.
Yeah.
You were gone for like 2 months. How was that? And I'm like, I literally haven't left Los Angeles in like months. Like,
right. Yeah.
you know, and I'm just like, I'm just doing school and work. Like, that's kind of my thing. So it does make you feel a little bad. I guess that validation too, or like the bar is set when you hit a certain age that you should kind of have your shit together.
Yeah, and then like what I was trying to like say with like with friends is like wanting to feel like your life's busy, or like or like your life is like there's things going on in your life, and I think it's worse with social media now because it's so easy to put up a front and be like, oh, like this person's doing this, and then you're scrolling, it's like, oh, that person's doing that, and it's like, oh, that person got to this school, and then like this person's doing that job, and oh, this person's with like a really good like partner, and it's like, well, shit, like what am I doing? And then so like it's not even like validation, it's not like a one-on-one validation of like, oh, wanting this person to like accept me and like welcome me for who I am. Now it's like a validation of, I don't know, just wanting people to think that you're doing more than you actually are.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. 1,000,000%. I completely agree with that. I think like that's a huge thing. That's kind of where I got the traveling thing from, is because all of this summer, I mean, every Instagram post was like Greece, fucking Italy, fucking Paris, like all this shit. I'm like, dude, like, stop making me feel bad, like straight up.
Yeah.
But yeah, staying busy is kind of like the thing. And I'm just like not really busy other than school and work. You know?
And I don't realize that until I see like my friends who are like not in the same boat as me, but like kind of going through the same stuff. Because like I don't, like I said before, I don't like to think of myself as like, or I don't think of myself like directly. I think of myself through other people. So like I see how like friends who are either going to community college or just like not going to college at all or whatever they're doing, and like they see like these people have friends and like they're doing like these desperate attempts to like hang out with people that they don't even like, or just like this and that, and I just like think like, well, that's shit, like you're seeking for validation in the wrong places, right? Which that's another thing.
In that case, like I'd much rather just stay low key, like you know, just keep to myself, which is how I've always been. Even in high school, like I've always kind of been very private in my life, like not really
that's not
shared anything, but. I mean, yeah, it's like, and that's more of like a societal like validation kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting, but I don't know if I have like any advice to like people who are going through this, because you guys have advice, let me know. But I know the biggest piece of advice is probably like, don't care what people think about you, you know, like just you do you. But it's so much easier said than done. I don't know.
Yeah, like I hate the whole like, oh, like everyone is like moving at their own pace.
And it's like, that's so belittling. I hate it.
I understand like where the sentiment comes from, but it's just like but I don't want to be at my pace. I want to be at their pace.
Yeah,
like,
my counselor told me that. My guidance counselor told me that the other day. I was like,
oh yeah,
I'm ending the call. Like I can't with you.
For like PCC or just like
she's like, you know, it's like everyone moves at their own pace. I was like, bitch, I'm leaving.
That's so funny. I've had the opposite experience with counselors. It's always just like, you need to get out of here as soon as you can. Yeah. Like, you know, like it seems like a escape mission. But
I mean, speaking of guidance counselors, I literally regret listening to mine this past semester. She's just tacked on way too much work for me. She's like, oh yeah, you'll be fine. I was like, I don't know. And she was like, no, you're like, please, you're gonna be fine. Do all these things.
I'm not asking, I'm telling.
And now I'm literally done. I mean, I don't know any better. Like, I'm just following the advice of someone who probably knows better, but now I totally regret that, so.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of close off with, like, final thoughts. So, I was gonna ask about, like, your story from earlier, about, like, the friend.
Oh, the best friend?
Yeah. I mean, like, why them, though? Is it just because it is the best friend?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like, if it's important to my partner, then it should be a little important to me.
Yeah.
Not that I care to be that person's friend, like BFF, but like, yeah. If it was like a friend of a friend, like I feel like I wouldn't care as much. Like I usually don't, but
Sure.
this is a little more like closer because I'm like, I don't know. We're assuming we're gonna be together for like a while.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to see this person frequently.
Yeah.
And it sucks having to see them. Be like, oh my god, hi, hug, whatever, fine. I know you don't like me, but like I'm gonna have a conversation with you anyways and just be fake for like 30 minutes.
Maybe is it?
You know.
I mean, this is like assuming, but like, is it also just because like, does it make you feel like you're more susceptible to not feeling like validated by your partner because their best friend now doesn't feel that way?
Maybe, probably not necessarily by him, but like I guess it could be like the future of, oh, we're hanging out. And I don't like really get invited because you know
that's the worst.
That's the worst. It's
like,
the worst.
And what's even worse is like realizing like, oh, they just didn't think about me.
Yeah.
Like I'd much rather prefer someone just hate me and like they didn't want to invite me than like, oh, we just didn't think of you. That's the worst. That's a sidebar. But
no, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That could be, but I mean, this is not like a big deal. I just was like, damn, like, why is this getting me down so many days?
Yeah,
and
it gets in your head, yeah.
Yeah. And, like, why is it that, like, a complete stranger has this impact on me, whereas, like, a person that I might be closer to and I don't see for months or don't speak to anymore probably wouldn't bother me as much.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean...
But, yeah.
And maybe it's just, like, because it does have to do with, like, maybe not directly, but, like, with, like, more partners. Like, I guess for me, like, I always tell myself, like, I'm not trying to, like, date or like I hate the idea of like either like hookup culture or like like using like a dating app or just like like I hate the idea of someone thinking like I'm pursuing them just because I was like fuck it, like
the chase,
like I don't and then I feel like it's like giving them too much credit.
Oh yeah,
that's the thing. It's like well no, fuck that, I know I'm good like where I'm at.
I'm very much a believer of, like, if it just falls in your lap and it just happens.
Exactly.
It is
like,
what it is.
If it happens, it happens. Yeah. But, like, in the meantime, I'm just going to do me. And like.
Exactly. Yeah, I've never been that type. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully someone hears this and, like, can kind of relate to me, though. But, yeah, that was just, I don't know, it's interesting. Maybe it's a seasonal depression. I don't know. But the end of the year is approaching, so could be that too.
It'd be like I said earlier, but it'd be like horrible for the only person that heard this was the friend.
The best friend.
Just happened to stumble.
Please don't listen to this.
Just hates you so much. Looks up your name on Google.
I know. They like posted on their Instagram story. Oh. Like, listen to this podcast episode.
Was shit talking to me?
Yeah. No, I don't think they would. I hope not. But yeah, that's kind of it for me. It was just an interesting topic that I think we should talk about.
Yeah, it is interesting.
But yeah, hopefully, you know, people are in tune in their fields. The end of the semester is approaching. We only have a few weeks left. Minus Thanksgiving.
Don't say that.
Yeah, it's scary. I'm terrified. But how many weeks is it? 5?
It's 11, right? So it's 5. Because it's 16. 16 weeks in total. I think we're at the 11th week.
Yeah, so 5.
Yeah,
I need to get that philosophy work done, like, ASAP.
Don't remind me.
Oh, God, I know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that is it for me, y'all. If you guys have any opinions on this, or, like, you guys have similar experiences, feel free to, you know, reach out on our Instagram. And let us know. I don't know. Interesting. Could be fun.
Yeah, I think we could do polls.
Yeah, we should, yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see about that. But, yeah, news stories every Wednesday. Check social media for new content on TikTok. We're always putting out TikTok content. Hopefully more YouTube content. More stuff in the works than that. But yeah, news stories every Wednesday. So be sure to check those out.
Subscribe to the newsletter.
And subscribe to the newsletter. Yes. It's on our, what is it called? Linktree.
Yeah.
It's on our Linktree. So you can sign up through there.
Yeah.
But that's it for me as well for the therapy session.
The therapy. This was just a therapy session, guys. I know.
I don't even do therapy. This is the extent of my therapy.
This was great though. I needed this.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. If you came this far.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll see you guys next week for a new episode. Hopefully something less emo, more fun.
It's gonna be even more emo.
It's gonna be it gets more and more emo until the semester ends. All right, bye y'all.
Yeah, bye.